Prior to adopting an open textbook, I remember teaching a general survey class where the textbook cost about $200. And of course I don't want students to get $200, and so I would encourage them to search for used copies, but I saw my students panic, as soon as I said that, and get on their phones and feel like they needed to be the first ones to find the used copy going for $40, and so everybody else is sort of stuck. And honestly, I remember from that class, maybe there were a handful of students who had, I don't think, bought the textbook in the end. So that's what we're up against. So for me, of course, using an open textbook with my students is a no-brainer. They're free for students to use. They're easily accessible. My students could leave class on the first day and they had a copy with them of the textbook. So I assigned chapter 1 from day 1 and they could start reading. So my students love that they can carry what they have to read really easily, as opposed to carrying around a heavy textbook on the subway. They read on a device, or they can just print out a chapter that they're using that day and just read a few pages at a time. So my students have loved it so far for the past year that I've been using an open textbook, and I'm happy to support this sort of growing movement too. My students honestly cheered on the first day of class when I told them that the textbook was free and available online. I teach evening classes where most students are working during the day, so I know they're working hard just to make ends meet, paying for college. They're here, they're motivated, but adding more and more and more expense onto the cost of education doesn't seem fair. So I hope to help them save a little bit of money on this, for sure. One of the things that's great is the open textbook that I'm using. I haven't compromised at all on quality. It's an excellently written experimental psychology textbook. It's new, it's loaded with lots of web links, which is actually interesting because if you're reading it online, you can link directly to what content they're pointing you to, whether it's YouTube videos or websites. It's got excellent coverage of statistics and everything, and it's a fantastic textbook. I haven't seen anything wrong with it. And what's interesting is if you are using an open textbook and you're interested in making any modifications, you can often actually get the source code to the textbook. And what I have is, I have the sort of original code that if I wanted to make any changes, if I found a typo or something, I could actually make that myself for next semester. So I've been super happy with the quality of the book I chose. One way that I feel like has changed is I'm much more willing to really just pick and choose from the textbook of what I want to use. I think there's something about when you require students to buy a whole textbook, you feel an obligation to sort of work through most of it. And I've found that sometimes quality over quantity is better, so rather than trying to get through all 15 chapters, if we can focus in on the most critical chapters, and in a way my students, it helps them focus because I'm pointing, these are the places I want you to know, and so maybe we're not going to rush through to get to the end of the textbook, because as far as they're concerned, they have a very clear start and finish to the class with just choosing the most important chapters from the text.